officer left. The county sheriff, America's last hope. That's
well, I mean, I think at the county level, but there's also juries, grand juries, that form of voting for the people is another hope. And we now have 10 states and 20 others now saying they may to declare sovereignty, and in the bills that I've been reading the last few days on air, we've had some state reps on, it states we will not have martial law, we will not have gun confiscation, we will not have forced compulsory service, and they list what the feds are doing, and so the state is the answer, and enshrined in that, the smallest unit of that is the sheriff. Right. And you're right, I've seen cases all over the country where they're trying to come repossess people's homes, and the sheriff's saying no. So that's why they tried to move to block the sheriff and basically federalize the states, because originally, in how our country's set up, it is the state that is the true unit of power.
It is, and and the county even more powerful than that, I do believe. And in the book, you'll see the documentation from my lawsuit that you mentioned when you introduced me. The lawsuit is key to all of this because it establishes the constitutional premise for the sheriff to have this power, and it's backed up by a recent Supreme Court ruling which came out in June of 1997. This has not been rescinded. It's law, and Justice Scalia details quite clearly that the federal government has no power over the county or the county sheriff or the state employees.
Instead, though, under Obama, they're trying to federalize everything. They're building FEMA camps where the local sheriff offices out of it with the military, with the police, and with clergy response teams. Can you speak to that?
Well, yes. Those are happening. It appears. I haven't seen any here in Arizona yet, but it doesn't matter where they're going up. If they're going up one place, they're going to be going up in others. I've maintained, even when I was sheriff, and I maintain even now, that the sheriff can tell FEMA to stay out of his county. We can make our own preparations, and the typical example of this is the failure of the federal government, especially during Hurricane Katrina, to really help people, and people have their hands out and expect the federal government to come take care of you. Don't expect it, don't count on it, and don't even want it.
Well, FEMA, as you know,
make your own preparations at the county level, and just do your own. Look what they did also at Katrina. They started taking everybody's guns away from them.
That's
so
what I was going to say is
self-defense.
Finally, the parish sheriff, not a county, a parish there, had to go stop FEMA from cutting the police communication lines because they wanted total federal control.
Of course, and they're going to, and if we continue to allow it, and if we have sheriffs who aren't aware of their duty, then this is going to continue to happen. I mean, you can look at the problems that happened when sheriffs relinquished at Ruby Ridge, at Waco, at New Hampshire with Elaine, what was her last name?
Edna Lane Brown.
Yeah, exactly, the Brown family. I mean, every place where the sheriff, and I think these were good sheriffs and good people there, they just are ignorant of the power and authority they have. The federal government has no jurisdiction in your county to be doing these things unless you, as the sheriff, allow it. And yes, you can go along, but to do so means you're throwing your constituents to the dogs. And this needs to be turned around, and I do believe that this book will offer the proper documentation and proof positive that the sheriff is the ultimate authority, and we need to educate him about that. I believe if we put the right information in front of the sheriffs in this country, we'll have them convinced. Can you imagine you can get freedom back and kick out the New World Order all at the same time by getting your sheriff on board?
Well,
there's only 3,000 sheriffs in this country. And if we could get 300 or 400 of them on board, just get 10% on board, the rest of it will snowball, or you could move to where one of them who actually is a constitutional sheriff.
And this idea is spreading thanks to you and others, rediscovering liberty in our true system of government. A microcosm is studying the Western expansion, the robber barons, the oil companies, the coal companies, the railroads. Yeah. They would come in and buy off a sheriff and use him to let the Pinkerton and others go in and slaughter people and kick them off their land. But in more cases than not, it was the people's sheriff that would fight off the bankers. So we've gone through this before.
Yes, we have. And, you know, I really feel that the time is ripe because of the hopelessness that people felt during, especially this last campaign. The presidential election, I think, left so many people with a bad taste in their mouth of hopelessness. And right now, I'm giving a message that there is hope, and it is your county sheriff.
Anytime good people disengage from government, tyranny comes in and fills the vacuum. 99% of countries and nations have been tyrannical. And that's really the bottom line. You will have everything you've got stolen. You really think you could just give the bankers your pension funds and your 401ks and they wouldn't run a scam to steal it? That's what this police state's about, is total control. Sheriff Richard Mack, I think it's important, the time we have left with you, for you to reach out to the police, not just the sheriff's departments, and explain to them how they've been manipulated, how they're being turned to the dark side. Perhaps you should briefly talk about your awakening.
Well, it is, and this book is directed towards everyone, and my first book, the prequel to this one, is The Proper Role of Law Enforcement, and it is intended for all police officers, so they will become peace officers in this country. And yes, quite frankly, the police departments across this country, whether sheriff's offices or police departments, have been brought into this mode of and been inculcated, if not brainwashed, into believing that all laws must be enforced, and that no matter what it comes down from the pike, from Washington, D.C., or from the state capitol, must be enforced. But that really, and the book talks about that very issue, that lack of principle behind that, because that's actually, as Thomas Jefferson called it, laws were nothing more but tools of the tyrant. And that's what laws have become today. And so all this photo radar crap and the multi-billion-dollar industry of wholesale distribution of traffic tickets, especially radar tickets, you can go on and on. The drug war is something else I have preached against for the last 10 years. I'm one of the speakers for law enforcement against prohibition. Prohibition does not work unless you're promoting a police state and big brother government. And
more drugs, because there's so much profit. In every case of prohibition, it increases.
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, let's be real. Prohibition doesn't work. Abraham Lincoln said prohibition is an insane law and an insane practice and makes crimes out of things that were never crimes at all. And prohibition isn't anything new. I mean, it goes way, way back. In fact, back during the Scottish Rebellion against the King of England, during Braveheart, you can even see in that movie of Braveheart where the King of England outlawed bagpipe music because it promoted patriotism and feelings of wanting to be free. And so prohibition is nothing new. And now, isn't it insane that we have hemp illegal when we could use hemp to restore the economy of this country and make oil and fuel and all sorts of things that we could get from this hemp plant?
And let's be clear, almost all the hemp varieties don't have THC.
No, they don't.
It's better than cotton, better for rope, but it's banned.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even care if they have THC in it. Who cares? But it doesn't. And hemp has been used in our country way back. The Declaration of Independence was written on it. So was the Constitution. But it's absurd what our government does, and then turns right around and lies to us and says stuff like, but there's no earmarks in this bill. It's amazing that people, we have so many Kool-Aid drinkers in this country, and I'm afraid that the police have been part of the Kool-Aid drinkers, and we've got to stand up and recognize our oath of office. And the book points out and starts with this principle that James Madison said that that states, as you and I were talking earlier, states and counties are supposed to erect barriers against the encroachments of the national authority. Well, that's what this is about. And if we could depend on the 600 some odd thousand peace officers in this country to keep their oath of office to uphold and defend the Constitution, instead of being redcoats for the central government and sometimes for the state, we could get our country back. The people of this country could have their freedom back tomorrow.